The old school way was the parents come in the back door and the RFA parents come in the front door and they drop the kid off in the waiting room and we never saw each other. And statistics say that just doesn't work. For me, it's that interaction at the drop-off. It's these children seeing you interact with the resource parent. It's them seeing that you have a relationship together. That is going to make the children's behavior at their home even better. So when they're saying, these kids are acting up with these bad behaviors and we don't know what to do, well, why don't you try talking good about us in front of our kids, and why don't you try saying, hey, I seen you had a good visit, your mom showed up, she was really happy to see you. When you include all of us together, they see us as a unit, they see us as a team, they see us as working collaboratively.
Some foster parents will say, oh, some of those kids come, they are so bad, they are this and they are that. If somebody has gone through trauma and have built a wall around themselves, and they're making you can't touch me now. So they are coming with this wall built because they're protecting themselves. You, the adult or the parent, have to try your best to see if you can reach that child behind that wall. And they can put their walls up by talking back, by being disrespectful. Everything they can do to push you away. But then you, the adult or the parent, have to understand that. Find out what's causing this. Find out where the kid is coming from. Find out what the story is. Find out how you can best reach this child.
During our training, we were taught very quickly that judgment had no place in this role, and that I felt very strongly about not just loving the foster child, but loving the whole family. And so when I have an opportunity to meet the biological family, I tell them that not only am I going to wrap my arms around their child, but I'm going to wrap my arms around all of them, and that we will be their biggest cheerleaders in our home, and that we hope they will do everything in their power to get their children back.
So when I showed up at child welfare, I thought this would just be another system who was going to judge me for my outward appearance and not really give me a chance. I'm glad to sit here and tell you that that wasn't the case. They let me choose the resources that I needed to change my life around. Some of those resources included anger management, managing emotions, parenting classes, codependency, more parenting classes. I think they asked me for one parenting class. I took 4. I learned a lot through them and became a better parent and was able to display those in my visits. My social worker came to my house regularly, made me feel comfortable. In fact, my favorite story of her is her showing up at my house and kicking her shoes off and sitting on my floor and putting her feet on my coffee table, and it just made me feel as if she wasn't this system that was hanging a carrot over my head and, demanding things from me. It made me feel human, which isn't what a lot of people feel when they come through child welfare. Child welfare gets a pretty bad rap. In fact, I was one of the people that gave them a bad rap in the beginning. I thought they were baby stealers. I thought they were here to just make me feel like I could do something and then not let it happen. But in the long run, I successfully reunified with my daughter. That took a short 7 months to get her back in my home with another 6 months of family maintenance. And through that, I met foster parents, resource parents who made me feel at ease and actually helped support me through the role. I feel like I wouldn't be where I am today without the resource parents that I had. The first ones that came in for my first visitation really made me feel awkward. They came into the front door, and as I came walking up to my child, they shielded my child from me, which kind of broke my heart, Regardless of what I did in my past, my child loved me, and I feel like they didn't put that first. They judged me as an outward appearance. But my second set of foster parents listened to me, respected me, shook my hand, let me know that they were here to be only foster parents and that they weren't here to try to steal my child from me, that they would support me and help me regain a status in my community. As soon as I was able to move forward on visitation, they were willing to meet me in a park, which I thought was phenomenal. Visitation at child welfare is not the best. You're in some really small rooms, and you have people taking notes all the way around you, and it makes you feel really uncomfortable and like you are just being judged for everything you say, look, or do. And so when they offered that to me, of course I jumped on it. They showed me how to be a real parent, if I can be real with you. I learned all of these tools in parenting classes, but none of them actually teach you how to be the parent in the present time. So my best story that I have about my RFA parents are that we met at a park one time. And me as a parent, growing up, I thought if I just take my kids to that park that I did my job and they're there to go play. But lo and behold to me, I was then showed from a resource parent, like she says, are you gonna go play with them? And I said, well, why would I do that? They're at a park, they're here to play with themselves. And this man showed me and asked me, would you like to come play with your kids in the sand? And I said, well, sure, but I've never had that in my life, so could you show me? And this man modeled for me and respected me and didn't make me feel less than, but he said, well, come on, here, let me hold your hand and I'll show you. And he sat down in this, oh my God, I'm sorry. He sat down in this sandbox with me and spent an hour with me, with my kids, and showed me how to build sandcastles and interact with them and ask questions that I've never really thought to ask. How was your day? Have you made friends? How is your new home going that you're living in? Those are things that I never really thought of. I took for granted that these were my kids and that's all I needed to know. My kids are now 9 and 11. They are amazing children. They are happy with me. They are grateful for the chance to be a family again. And to be honest with you, I owe all of that to child welfare, and I owe all of that to foster parents. They showed me love, they showed me guidance, they showed me hope, and from there I just made the steps myself.